The delegates elected George Washington unanimously as the commander of the Continental Army. Back in July 1755, during the French and Indian War, he had been one of 1,400 soldiers and the only officer on horseback to survive. He later wrote to his brother, "But by the all-powerful dispensations of Providence, I have been protected beyond all human probability or expectation, for I had 4 bullets through my coat and 2 horses shot under me, yet escaped unhurt, although death was leveling my companions on every side of me." An Indian warrior testified after the battle that he thought that Washington had some sort of divine protection because he had shot 17 bullets at him without even hurting him. Crossing of the Delaware River. By December 1776, the American cause was at a breaking point. After a series of military defeats, national morale had plummeted. Furthermore, Washington faced a critical operational crisis. The enlistment terms for most of his soldiers were expiring at the end of the year, and very few men had re-enlisted. Knowing the army would soon dissolve, Washington determined that he had to execute a bold, offensive maneuver to save the Revolution. Washington planned a surprise attack on the Hessian garrison stationed at Trenton, New Jersey. He timed the assault for the early morning of December 26, counting on the fact that the enemy would likely be in a deep sleep following their customary drinking and celebrations on Christmas. As the American troops prepared to cross the Delaware River in the pre-dawn hours, a violent snow and hailstorm suddenly descended. While this created immense physical hardship for the Americans, it ironically worked in their favor. The severe weather forced the enemy sentries to abandon their posts to seek cover and reduced visibility to near zero. Due to the element of surprise provided by the storm, the Americans took approximately 1,000 German soldiers prisoners after only 45 minutes of combat. The American losses during the fight were minimal. The only casualties were 2 men who unfortunately froze to death during the march. Henry Knox, one of the colonels of the Continental Army, said, "The hurry, fright, and confusion of the enemy was not unlike that which will be when the last trump shall sound, and Providence seemed to have smiled upon every part of this enterprise." This victory was a crucial turning point for the Continental Army. It revitalized the spirit of both the Army and the nation, providing the momentum and confidence necessary to continue the struggle for independence. Valley Forge. The winter of 1777 to 1778 at Valley Forge stands as the pivotal turning point of the American Revolution. Before arriving at this winter camp, Washington's Continental Army was struggling, an undisciplined mob with few victories. However, the extreme adversity they faced during these months ultimately forged them into a disciplined, confident, and victorious force. The conditions were catastrophic. Upon arrival, the troops lacked the most basic necessities: clothes, tents, blankets, and shoes. Washington famously reported that his men's marches through frozen, snowy terrain could be traced by the blood from their bare feet. As winter progressed, the situation worsened. By late December 1777, nearly 2,900 men were unfit for duty, and by January and February, more than 4,000 soldiers were incapacitated by exposure, disease, and starvation. Many suffered from frozen limbs that required amputation, while others went days without any food at all. Washington wrote to a congressional delegate, "Without arrogance or the smallest deviation from truth, it may be said that no history, now extant, can furnish an instance of an army suffering such uncommon hardships as ours has done, and bearing them with the same patience and fortitude." Despite this misery, the army persevered through a combination of extraordinary human effort and divine intervention. 3 specific events are highlighted as turning points. The miracle of the shad. Faced with near starvation, the army suddenly experienced an abundant food supply when thousands of shad began migrating up the Schuylkill River. Soldiers harvested the fish with pitchforks and shovels, alleviating the immediate threat of famine. The arrival of Baron von Steuben. On February 23, 1778, Baron von Steuben arrived to implement rigorous military training. He transformed the soldiers, drilling them into a professional, disciplined army and providing them with newfound confidence. The French alliance. That winter, France officially allied with America. This provided crucial financial resources and troop reinforcements. The Continental Congress acknowledged this as a direct act of providence, declaring a national day of thanksgiving. Throughout this ordeal, George Washington's leadership remained steadfast. He repeatedly attributed the Army's survival and the series of fortunate events, from the arrival of the fish to the alliance with France, to the hand of God. In his correspondence, Washington expressed deep gratitude, writing that one must be worse than an infidel that lacks faith to observe the history of the Revolution without acknowledging the divine interposition that protected the cause of liberty. The Battle of Yorktown. Before the final confrontation, British General Cornwallis had been pursued by American forces. Throughout this time, Cornwallis faced recurring delays due to sudden flooding and storms at various rivers, the Catawba, Yadkin, and Dan, which American forces interpreted as divine intervention hindering the British pursuit. By October 1781, General Cornwallis had positioned his troops at Yorktown, Virginia, waiting for reinforcements. A combined Allied force of roughly 2,650 Americans and 4,650 French soldiers, led by Washington and French General Comte de Rochambeau, marched from New York to lay siege to Yorktown, Virginia. Simultaneously, a French fleet under Admiral de Grasse arrived at the coast, successfully defeating the British fleet that had been sent to provide relief to Cornwallis. Trapped and lacking reinforcements, Cornwallis attempted a last resort escape across the York River on the night of October 17th. However, a sudden violent storm disrupted the transport boats, forcing the division of his troops and preventing the escape. With his escape route blocked and under fire from American batteries at daybreak, Cornwallis found his force divided and was forced to surrender to General Washington. This event effectively ended the Revolutionary War. The victory was widely attributed to divine providence by contemporaries. The Continental Congress organized a formal procession to a church to offer thanks for the success, and General Washington issued a congratulatory order commending the Allied army and calling for divine services to be held.